Can you guys see that okay? This says text reference, style, device, or trait, and so what? Okay. Jess, do you have a question?
Sorry,
Okay. Okay, so for text reference, what do you think this means? Paul, what does this mean?
Referring back to the text.
Referring back to the text, okay? So a lot of times you're probably going to need, how am I going to know it's a text reference? What should you probably put around quotes? Perfect, okay? So this, you can also paraphrase. If you take something that's kind of long from the text and you don't want to quote it all, you can paraphrase it, okay? If you paraphrase it, does it go in quotes? You guys, if you paraphrase, you don't put it in a quote, okay? If you quote it when you take it verbatim, word for word, okay? Style, device, and trait. What do I mean by style?
Like the author style?
The author's style, how they're writing. Harrison, what are you saying?
Literature devices used.
Okay, that's for device. Literature device. Harrison, give me an example of a literature device. A literary device.
Metaphor.
Metaphor. Anyone have another? Simile.
Alliteration.
Personification, alliteration. You're going to see foreshadowing in this one. Okay? What do I mean when I say trait?
Is it the character's trait?
Okay, I can see why you think that. You could do a character trait. I'm kind of thinking, maybe if you flip over your sheet. Flip over your sheet, what are those? Traits of what? Modernism. Okay, so we already talked about yesterday, traits of modernism, and the day before, and we kind of talked about some of these traits in the actual text, okay? And then so what? The idea behind this is we know what he's saying, but so what's the point of it all, okay? Why is he writing like this? Why is he saying what he's saying, okay? So for so what, it's, I'm going to do an example for you. So it's, if I do a text reference, and let's say it's a style I'm going to use, why did he use that style, okay? So the so what is kind of the bigger picture behind this, okay? So you guys are going to copy this down as an example. Murphy?
Right, so the way that he did like the dialogue, like how it's like how I should speak, would that be more trait or style?
You could do, I would do more style, the clip, are you talking about clip dialogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys can't, Murphy just helped you out with an example of one. So, and then the so what, to kind of make the reader feel like they're involved, because it's more conversational. Remember we talked about that? Okay, so I'm going to do one for you guys, and you guys should all write this down. Let's see. Okay, so it says the big mill itself stood deserted. Okay, and so I'm thinking to myself, what type of style or device or trait is this? I'm thinking it's a style of imagery. Okay? If I was thinking along the line of a trait, what type of trait would it maybe be? For modernism, what type of trait would it stood by itself deserted? What type of trait? You could go fragmented. Look up. What did you say, Josh?
Alienation.
Alienation. Perfect, Paul. Why is it alienation? What did I just say?
Alienation.
Alienation. Woo. Okay, alienation. Perfect, Paul. Okay. Does that make sense? I'm basically saying you can choose the style, or you can choose the device, or you can choose the trait, or you can choose all of them if it applies. Okay. And so what's the point of saying imagery and alienation? Like, so why did he use imagery? Why do authors use imagery?
To describe something.
To describe something. When someone's reading it, what's the point of, the words are supposed to do what to the reader?
Paint a picture.
Paint a picture, okay? Bring the story to life. That's why people use imagery, okay? So how many ways trying to get you to see what it's like at Hortons Bay in Michigan, okay? So so you could go for that to be the so what, or for alienation, what do we know about modernism?
It's used throughout the 1920s with all literary authors.
Perfect, okay? And it's demonstrating that people kind of felt alienated. They felt isolated, okay? So in the so what, Tara, you already wrote, what did you write in so what?
I just wrote, he just used it to describe something, like help us picture it in our heads better.
Perfect, okay? See how Tara took the so what and she made it the bigger picture? So I'm going to write, shows the isolation. If you want to word it in your own words, that's fine. Isolation and abandonment of the period.
Someone's singing.
I think someone is singing in the other room. Oh, is it a movie? Okay, so let's do, so I already helped you out with one. Let's do one more together. Who wants to maybe think of one? Think about characters. Do we want to do Murphy's clip dialogue? Think about the story itself. What do we know about it? Does anyone have one that they want to throw out there? Look at the quotes. Look at what, why don't you kind of maybe, I'll kind of guide you. Look at the quotes and what is maybe Bill, what is, not Bill, what does Nick say to Bill at the end? Go away, okay? So that's the quote, okay? What's that showing? Well, what's that device, kind of? Or think about this, style, device, or trait. What one of those is it? Okay, so it's a trait. We're going to go with alienation. Okay, so why does he want to show that? Yeah, he's saying just go away to Bill right now. But in general, that's a statement towards the time period, and people wanted to be alone. Does that make sense? So, Paul, what are you going to write in text reference?
Go away, Bill, and go away for a while.
Go away, Bill. Good. Go away for a while. Okay, so then we said, what is it for the trait? Alienation, perfect.
Maybe impermanence. Maybe.
Perfect, impermanence. Why impermanence, Harrison? Not Harrison, I'm sorry, Quentin?
I mean, if you're going away, you're not permanently in your spot. So.
Okay, yeah, you can take it that way, yeah. So for so what, I'm writing, like, keep saying Harrison. Like Quentin said, the idea of not staying in one spot, going away. Or for alienation, the idea that people want to be alone, the sense of solitude. Okay? So you guys can write any of those things. And now you should all have 2 examples. Okay, so when you guys have, this will stay up, so when you do have this copied down, you guys are going to continue working. You have 5 minutes. Do I expect you to get all of these in 5 minutes? No. Just to get started, okay? So in 5 minutes, you're working individually to come up with as many on your own as you can, okay? So think bigger picture, think I mean, you're going to find similes in here, you're going to find foreshadowing. Some people found personification, maybe some realism. You're going to find all of those things. And then you're also going to, I lost my train of thought. So those are the main things you're looking for, and you can work on your own. And then we're going to share what we've come up with. Do you have a question?
Yeah, for cryptic language, what?
Oh, clip, I would choose, for clip language, if you guys want to do, or clip dialogue. That's what you said, right? Yeah. For that, choose one, maybe back and forth between Marjorie and Nick, that demonstrates that. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you guys have, what? What's clip dialogue? Clip dialogue is this idea of a conversational text. Do you have the text out? Yeah. If it says, do you see how it kind of just goes, I can just remember, Nick said. You know how a lot of times literature shows this, when authors write, they show this like, and she said it in such a morose tone, or they say more emphasis on how it's said. The dialogue does it for him in this one. It's clipped. It's almost like conversation. Like this is how people actually talk.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Okay.